It's like a milestone birthday, I suppose, Doug. You can't believe it comes around so quick, 200 games.
Yeah, they do come around. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I'll say it's you ran a footy club long enough, these things happen. So it's nice, it's exciting, it's good for the family and myself to reflect upon. And it's a long journey, but it's good you get to celebrate with your teammates and your family on the weekend and people closest to you. So I'm looking forward to that.
The jumper fits a little bit differently than when you first came to the club, I'd imagine. What are some of your memories?
Yeah, no, they had to spend a bit of time in the gym early days, which was good fun. What's changed at the footy club over 10 or 12 years, of changing coaches, changing admin, playing list has changed a lot. So constantly had to adapt and evolve as a player and as a person. So it's been an exciting journey and one that hopefully is not over yet.
The demands on AFL football have changed as well, I'd imagine. Just talk to us about that and how you did adapt when you changed coaches so many times.
Yeah, I mean, the game's as fast as ever. I thought, remember when I played my first game, I thought, gee, it's quick, but that showdown a couple of weeks ago, that was just another level. It was ridiculous. So, game continues to evolve and get quicker, and bodies are faster, and you need to be even more professional and stay at the cutting edge of being a professional athlete. So, you mentioned changes of coaches. You need to gain their trust and respect early days and try and impress them and keep yourself in the side, because there's always a young guy looking to come in and take your spot. So keeps you young, keeps you fresh and motivated and excited. So looking forward to a few years yet.
Were you always confident that this milestone would come?
I never really thought about it too much. I was just one of those footballers. It's the boring cliche that you don't really look too far past the week ahead, and that's the same again this week. But it's amazing in a footy club. You play on the weekend, and Monday comes around so quick, and before you know it, the weekend's here again. And it wasn't until I sat down end of last year and realised that I was 195 games and was hoping to pencil in the Gold Coast games at 200. So I got a bit excited, but. It's not something I really expected, being a young boy coming across from country Victoria and joining the Crows, but one I'm really happy with and proud of.
Have you had to change your role personally from last year to this season?
I guess a little bit. I've played a lot more minutes through the midfield, which has been good and something I've done in the past a lot more. It's probably the last 2015-16 where I played a bit more forward. Playing a role for the team, which is good. I fully embrace, but I feel that midfield certainly suits the way I play a lot more, which has been exciting. We've got a really good group in there at the moment. And if we can get Crouchy back in the next few weeks, it's going to be even stronger.
What does it mean to not only get to 200, but get to 200 with one club?
Yeah, I think that's the thing I'm most proud about. Obviously being from interstate, when you're out of contract, there's always opportunities to go back home, but I was always, really happy with the Adelaide Footy Club. They really treated me well, and I like to think I'm a really loyal person. So, since I walked through the door at the Crows day one, I fell in love with the club and have always wanted to stay here and achieve the ultimate, which is still a massive driving force today.
Was there any times like when you did come off contract that you seriously considered moving back to Victoria or going to another club?
Yeah, I think most players do seriously consider it. It's obviously a massive decision in your life, not just for yourself but for your family and your closest people around you. So you've got to certainly take your time and think of those decisions. It's not just a financial decision, as a lot of times reported. It's often things outside of that, family, etc., that are the most important issues that you need to deal through. So for me, it was always had my full support of my partner and my family to stay here at Adelaide, and that was enough for me to want to stay long term.
You mentioned you've seen a fair few campaigns now. How does this one stack up? How well placed is this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously early on in the season, so it's going to have to, I think we're tracking well. When I first got to the club in 2006, we had a really strong list, and we started the year so well that year and sort of fell away at the end. And throughout 2012 we were within a kick of a grand final berth. But I think the difference with this year is the group we've got at the moment have played a fair bit of footy together. I'd say 50 to 100 games, that real core nucleus of players. And I think looking at premiership sides in the past, they've had that in their core group. So we've built some great relationships amongst each other. There's some genuine trust out there on game day, and I think we gel really well, and our connection you probably see is really good. So it's exciting. We're only 4 games in this year. We've still got a lot of work to do, but I think we're certainly on the right track.
Is there a lesson from 6 or 12 that has to be carried into 7-8 to make sure it finishes the right way?
We obviously want to peak at the right time. We're playing some good footy at the moment, but finals and grand finals aren't won in April. We understand that. We know that we need to play good footy to put ourselves in a position to be able to contend. But certainly, I think the last 2 finals campaigns, we've fallen short on the biggest stage, which is something we've learned from, and we'll look to address. Hopefully, if we get there again this year.
So, what do you think you're better at the moment?
Just in one word, I'd say maturity. I think of the group. As I said before, we've played that 50 to 100 games of footy together. We've been through some ups and downs, some hard times, and we've become a lot closer as a group. We've worked hard on building those relationships, and I think when times get tough, and we know they do come finals, you get challenged a lot of the time. I think we'll hopefully this year we'll be able to stand up. Time will tell, but if we get in that position again, I'm really confident we'll be able to do a lot better.
After a couple of... Sorry, mate, you go, mate.
Crouch demanding a game this week?
He'd love to play. If you asked him, he'd certainly be playing, but it's something that won't be rushed. He's obviously showed some good form in the SANFL. He's vitally important to us, so I'm not sure he won't be rushed. We'll make sure he's done enough work. I don't think he still played a full game in the SANFL last week, so he'll have to do that before he can put his hand up for selection.
What about Joshy?
Yeah, Josh got through today, so he moved quite well. Again, I'm sure he's keen to play, but it obviously comes down to Don and the fitness staff and see how he pulls up tomorrow. So he'll be every chance, but he'll be assessed probably tomorrow, Friday.
Did he do full contact stuff? When we were there, he saw very, very gentle with a few of the handball and bumping drills that he did. Did he do real full-on stuff?
Yeah, he'd done a little bit. I wouldn't say full-on. He'll probably do that again, maybe tomorrow. So he's every chance, but he'll have to be assessed.
With Jake Kelly, do you know what the problem is with his eye?
I don't know 100%. No, I'm not a specialist in any way, shape or form regarding eyes, but for me it was just a poke in the eye and that was enough. Yeah, he had a bit of pink eye or something like that. It was something really nasty.
With Jake obviously not there on Saturday, who's sort of someone that could come into that team in the back line there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not sure. We're talking about it amongst the boys in the locker room, and we're trying to, think of someone that could play that role. There might be a restructure in the way we line up. Dave McKay could go back if Josh is right. I'm not too sure, to be 100%.
It's not Wick's turn to get a run?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be around the mark. He's played some good footy. He's getting a lot of the ball in the SANFL. John O'Beach was emergency on the weekend. He's been really close for probably the last part of last year and early this year. So he's every chance. So there's a couple that could come in.
With your own form, after a couple of quiet seasons in the forward line, what has been the reason behind the resurgence this year? Because you're playing arguably some of your best footy that you have for quite a few years.
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's probably just a bit of confidence, really. Just getting back in the midfield and getting in the action and be able to get to a few more contests and surround yourself in the action a bit more. It's always nice to play well early in the season and build that confidence, and it sort of snowballs from there. And so for me, it's probably off the back of a good pre-season and some good JLT form and just carrying it through. Was that a chat you had with Don Pike or to move into the midfield this year? Yeah, it was. Yeah, so through the pre-season, I trained a bit through halfback and midfield, and was probably looking to go away from playing that half-forward role and open that up for a few other guys, such as Rolly Knight and Troy Menzel, so I think that's worked quite well. And you know, I've played a lot of football in junior years across halfback, so I've been able to rotate a bit more through there when I've been having a spell. And as I said, enjoy playing midfield too. So that's something we identified through pre-season and thought it could be something that we could add to my game.
Is that something that's kind of extended your career a bit, I guess? Because a lot of the times last year when there were some lean games in there, people would have questioned whether you would have been going on for many more seasons, but moving back into the midfield, you slotted back in perfectly. Yeah,
obviously I wasn't overly happy with my form last year. Certainly struggled in some games. Was able to play a role but didn't probably have the impact that I was having this year. So that's something I was really keen to get back to doing. And yeah, I feel like I can play for a few more years yet. Obviously the body's good and the mind's fresh. So footy changes pretty quick though. If you're not getting a kick, pretty soon you're on the outer. So I understand how the game works, but I'm just enjoying my footy at the moment and looking to improve. I still feel I've got some of my best footy ahead of me, and I think this group's definitely going places, so I want to be a part of it.